This video is going to be about conscious evolution. And what I mean by that is the constant approach to try and upgrade everything and to optimize everything and make things better, right? And an example could be your physical well being, right? Physical maintenance. Let's say you're looking at your hair management, whether it's on your head or your body. You're looking at treatments, you're looking at products to purchase, you're looking at a new regime to implement to better your physical well-being. And so I've ordered the what's it called? Manscaped products. So I ordered this ultimate whatever platinum thing because I got it on a really cheap offer. It was in excess of £300 retail price, and then they have a sale on, and I used a promo code which added another 20% on top of that. So I ended up getting everything for about a third of the price, which works out pretty economically good. So the reason I bring that up is because it's in line with conscious evolution. So I'm focusing on the aspect of the body, right? I'm looking at myself, and I'm having a voice come through from the mind, a thought form, and my ego is saying to me, dude, you've got to look better. Like, you've got to treat yourself better. You've got to take more pride in yourself. And I listen to the body and I go, body, what do you think? And body's like, body, body just is. Body doesn't use language. Body's not of mind. It's not of thought. Body is of communication through signals and feelings. Ego is what gives that pride in appearance, the image, because ego has presented itself and sees itself as separate, and so it has this, ego is sense of self, So you have this dialogue, you have this conversation through your various elements, through your various aspects. And the more that you are aware of these different aspects having a conversation within you, you realize there are so many different parts of your being that are active all the time. Some we just give way more focus. So we tend to have a primary focus and a secondary focus, and they tend to be of two different aspects within us at any given time. This is what I've found. And on rare occasions, can you effectively balance it three focuses at the same time, because we all know that we can't truly multitask. I mean, we could probably do something physical, as in walk, or do physical activity around the house. You can do kind of muscle memory maintenance that your body knows how to do, and practiced stuff. So that can be the secondary awareness, and then your primary awareness could be on your thoughts. So your thoughts can be, coming up with so many complex problem-solving things and realizations and conversations with yourself as well. So your ego and your mind can be in a full-blown conversation all the time, trying to, demystify the wonders of the world, in my case. On a constant basis, and improvingly and increasingly through the powers of high, because high gives me a sort of superpower to really focus in on something and multiply that, just accentuate that. It magnifies. I forgot, I used another word. It amplifies. Being in a higher state amplifies whatever you focus on. And if you focus on aspects of self, then you are really able to recognize when different aspects are trying to communicate to you and trying to come to the foreground of your awareness. So if you think about it like that, there is definitely a foreground of awareness, and then there's background layers of awareness. And so it always comes back to, well, be more open and start listening to the neglected aspects that you rarely tune into or rarely even acknowledge of their existence, which is referencing why I was having that kind of conversation with ego and high, because uh, high is like another aspect, but we might use it as a tool and not give it enough respect and not let it come to the foreground and take control. Because high is another prime aspect that can take control and that can make decisions and is autonomous and has an energy force in itself and is connected to much, much more like profound, meaningful journeys and wisdom in things like play and things like the arts and creativity and of insight, of intuition, and of empathy and connection and using the body. And when you tune into a high side of life, a higher frequency of experience, when you tune into that more and start to like let ego let go of control, then it can become really magical and really insightful and really meaningful, right? Which is great, but it also comes with, from my experience, I've mentioned that I feel like a tourist when I'm attuned to high because it's discombobulating. My body is affected, right? So that's why people are scared about the loss of control over their body and fear of loss in a way, or fear of harm to the ego, because the ego always takes pride in themselves and they can't ever be seen to be acting a fool, right? So those kind of paradigms are what we still have and part of what I'm calling into question and rebelling against, in favor of not just blindly doing the opposite. No, I'm recognizing something else that I could follow instead. And it stems from connecting within myself, realizing that there are these other neglected aspects. Oh, I listen to the body, I tune into my body aspect, and I listen to my body and goes, and body says, body, just feel my body, right? Do I feel discomfort? Do I feel pleasure? Do I feel tingling? Do I feel hungry? Is my mouth dry? Your body is sending you signals, subtle, quite a lot. Am I under tension? All of these signals are of the body. And so your body is another aspect that it doesn't have a voice because it doesn't have language. We can assimilate that, but your body communicates to you via sensations. And you need to listen to the language of your body. So body is quite chill. As long as you look after body, it's going to look after you, right? You need to form a relationship with it though. And it's not through the language of thought. That's all in the mind. And we can let that take control and like take over, right? And ego doesn't like that. Ego's fine with using the power of the mind to like achieve everything and to get shit done and to basically like live a practical life. Now, for me personally, there's not a huge association with will. I need to tune more into the aspect of will and desire and chaos. They're still unknown labels I'm trying to identify with, but I can't grasp them because I haven't experienced them. I'm not close to them. So in the trichotomy of prime aspects, that side of desire and will and like choice and decision and that kind of true motivation, yeah, I'm not attuning to that yet. I'm up here. I'm up in the yellow space with high, and trying to document it using the mind and using structure of ego. And I'm trying to create some kind of coherent roadmap and visual layout with terminologies and a form of understanding. I'm trying to create lots of forms to better understand everything, right? Because what is in is out, right? The exterior is a reflection, so is an extension. So if we really understand ourselves fundamentally, now I've got to remind you, I'm sure by now you know that I'm rambling in the kind of like creative yellow space, and I say yellow because I'm referring to the personality color. It's definitely not easy to listen to, I'm sure, even if this is just for myself. But coming back to conscious evolution, I'm saying that because I'm applying that more and more to like all aspects of myself. And that comes through the form of, well, you can trace everything back, right? So if I notice, my observations are, I see dust. And then I go, well, I should dust. So I dust. But then that's not very frequent. And so the dust builds up, and I think, okay, well, it's reached my level of discomfort now, where I'm uncomfortable with this level of dust. And so I dust, but that is quite infrequent. And I think, well, why don't I make it more frequent? And you could stop right there and say, oh, it's because I'm lazy. But no, ego won't have that. Ego won't accept that I'm lazy. Ego says, no, it's not that. It's something else. What is it? Well, it's frustrating. It's annoying. It's tedious. It aggravates me. Dusting is one of those things where, you know, if you look around, let me flip. Your mantelpieces has stuff on it, and your desk has stuff all over it because you're using it. It's a using space. Here, all the nooks and crannies, and I've just given a little quick dust with my little dust cloth here. It's on a little extension thing, so I just have that handy there on the side. It's above the bin, which is not ideal. I might hang it around the back, maybe down there. But yeah, I usually have my laptop here, and I just bring the little duster thing out, and I give a quick dust. Nice. Right. And the floor as well, there's lots of stuff, as you saw, on the floor. And so that means whenever I get the vacuum cleaner out, even though that little vacuum cleaner, this handy thing, this handy little bugger, you can see the extension there. It's really good. I mean, it's cheap, but in terms of value, this is the cheapest I could find, and the best. It's just light plastic. It doesn't need to be heavy. But yeah, I'm getting carried away. I look at these things and I optimize them, right? To take the level of discomfort away, to make it something that I actually enjoy doing, right? Forming a positive relationship with that thing. And if it's, in my case, in this example, parts of maintenance, that's going to help alleviate some of the unpleasantries or discomforts that I may experience on a regular, ongoing basis, which is a gathering of dust. You've got to clean, you've got to look after your environment as well as yourself. But if you are not, maybe the reasons are not just because you're lazy. Maybe the reasons is because, yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Well, all right, let's try and optimize that. Let's design a process. Let's design tools and things like that. And that's why, oh, I should get into this drawer later on, but this drawer is full of organization and labeling and systems. The other drawer, we're not going to go there. But oh, right, that. So something like this is optimizing my mind and my life. It's also creating a much more like positive environment in my bedroom, my one and done, everything is here room, right? Everything laid bare, my balls gonna be shaved. Part of being completely authentic and brave and recognizing that ego is an aspect and it doesn't need to control my decisions and control my life. I want to be allowed to embrace every aspect of myself, and I'm recognizing that high, or being in the zone, or being attuned to a higher frequency, being in a higher energetic state is something that I have recognized has incredible benefit and incredible potential, because it facilitates you to focus on whatever it is, and you will just be enabled, right? It doesn't make you do anything. It's just whatever you are focusing on. If you focus on, oh, this thing in front of me is uncomfortable, and if you think immediately about solutions and what if, the answers will be there as a small little whisper, or as a really strong compulsion. Whatever level of attunement you have to that thing, to that process, it will be there, and you can be aware of it, and then you can use it to help guide you towards solutions. Whether it comes in the form of, it just kind of gives you drive to just make a decision and start doing that thing physically. If that's something that's uncomfortable, just do it and it's done. Don't worry about it until next time. But then it keeps coming next time, so obviously you're caught up in your mind and in the future, and you're getting yourself down, and then you have a blockage. So for me, everything is about trying to create solutions and trying to create things that are always win-win. I am not a huge fan of self-discipline, self-evidently, but I'm getting better. I want to improve that. But instead of me approaching it as just a mind off, just do it kind of thing, where then in the future of that might lock me down into being really dependent on structures and routine and self-discipline. And I see that, and I behave in a way that it makes like a code for me. And that's a structure that I'm not won over by. I can see the benefit that if you're highly disciplined, self-disciplined, and you're able to just do shit, even if it's uncomfortable, and have your life in a position where you're actually maintaining a really healthy balance, and you've got everything down. You've systematically gone through and improved everything. I would love to be in that stage, but I want to do that through my way. And my way is optimization, so that I am happy to do anything, right? Instead of being held back. And so when I ask myself before, like, what's holding me back? Why am I holding myself back? Well, who am I? First, identify who am I. So at any given moment throughout life, I can phase between and have conversations with different aspects of myself. And if I identify at that given time, I'm associated with my mind. I'm letting my thoughts run away, and I notice my body stuck in paralysis, and I notice a pain in my neck, and body's been like, I've been trying to tell you, like, lift your head up. You're looking down at the floor because you're in your head, and you're just like, so your body says, hey, like, wake up. and you understand this kind of dialogue that's happening. And that's all through the power of awareness, really. And so the first step is always awareness. And then I'm always trying to like advance, jump ahead to the next step, to the next leap. I'm trying to always dig down to the roots of everything. That's why it's difficult to hold down a conversation, and especially a monologue, because there's no one there to try and like help guide me back into a sensical, useful line of thought, where at the end of it there's some kind of solution, some kind of pearl of wisdom, where that's great, and I can probably spend time to try and do that with Q&A later down the line. But this is a brain dump. This is a consciousness stream, and it's a summary, a loose summary, but it's a journey. It's basically not the destination. And I know this sounds cliche, and you can make fun, and I would love it, because we should poke fun out of everything, but especially ourselves. We should. It is. Everything is. And I forget, and I get carried away. But it is the journey. That's the important thing. So that's why when I'm saying I like to optimize my performance and my lifestyle and my tools and my processes, right? I want to optimize everything, because then I enjoy the process of optimization and making everything efficient and useful, intelligent design. I should really get into, I don't know, a line of work where I have reputation enough to approach any situation and just interact with that thing and go, oh, this is why it doesn't work so well, and this is what it should be done. I'm sure like millions of people would love to take that kind of job if there was such a thing, but there's not. But that is a very useful process to have in yourself. So I treat life like that. Everything I'm interacting with, like, I don't know. Oh, an example here. Right. So this brand new product, it looks lovely, spick and span, very, very nice design. And I like it, but functionally, there's a couple of things that pisses me off. And one of them is this very, beautiful. Oh, it's not this one. It's this one. Because this, I'll make another video, but there's something about it that I can explain later. It just doesn't quite work so well when you're trying to switch it off, because you have to just push it down. You can push it up fine, but it's really heavy to push down, and you don't have fuck it, whatever. It annoys me. So I'm constantly trying to just upgrade that. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, there's nothing I can do right now to change that product in terms of manufacturing, right? But I could improve that with my own DIY. So I would probably look at that and go, all right, well, I'm going to grab, in this drawer, I've got these little sticky tabs as well as other things. That's a complete mess. So I'll grab one of these sticky tabs, like one of these round ones here. Let me grab that right now. Right. And I would stick that on the bottom portion here, if it fits. And it fits almost perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna have to just bear with me a second. I'm gonna have to get this in there. Right. I'm sorry for wasting your time. You can feel free to scrub. And I kind of wish that I made that black somehow inside there. But that's a quick solution, for example, that I would do that makes now this trigger much easier to use. And that's just because I've used my ingenuity and experience of looking at something and immediately looking for a solution. That's a well-practiced thing, and I live in my mind, and I thank my processors because that my intellect. But the message is, I focus on that, and when I focus on something with intent, and I guess will to do something about it, and I attune to high in order to amplify that experience and to listen to like suggestions from somewhere unknown. It's not like a voice or anything. It's just, I don't know. I get ideas to do that and it fixes it. And somehow, all the decisions that I've made in the past seems to kind of line up and make the perfect thing. Like, there are, this is going to be a long one. This already is. But there are, I made the decision to buy these little sticky rubber stopper things. And this one fits perfectly in there. You can't even make that up. It's not black, but that's just a little simple thing. So instead of me writing to Manscaped and having a little like rah rah rah, it's not perfect, the user experience could be improved or whatever. It's not my job, but I improve everything in my life. I installed that, right? I got different colored post-its in order to, let me hang on. Different colored post-its in order to, this is so personal, but whatever. You get what you see. You get what you see. You get it. I don't know why I'm even doing this. And this. It's really helpful for the process of cleaning up. And I'm now thinking about, the really cool thing about that is that when you turn it on, when the shaft is attached, it's got little lights on the front. And those lights, because they're so low down, they pick up all the shadows that can be created from anything that's on the floor, right? Because the angle of the light. So that's good design, and that's from a cheap little. Well, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't that cheap because those kind of, the tech is expensive, but it's plastic and it looks like it's cheaply made, but it kind of is. But the design is there and it works. It's really functional. It's intelligent design. And it makes me cringe when people put so much thought and money into, well, maybe not much thought, but a lot of money into creating products that they fall short, and I get that it's better to just launch, even like 60% complete is good enough. It's good enough to launch. And I get that, but I'm definitely of wanting to create the other 40%, or at least 20 to 30%. I want to optimize so that we get our default standard is not like 60%. Our default standard across everything is 80, 90%. I want that as a way of life. And so I'm systematically, one by one, trying not to overwhelm myself, but I'm one by one looking through, paying attention to lots of aspects within myself and paying attention to its needs and its frustrations and its stresses. And I'm listening. So I'm trying to give my body better recognition and better awareness. And I'm trying to be aware of my mind, which is just, it doesn't want to sleep. It just wants to kind of solve everything and understand everything. And I'm going, chill, like we can take a rest, right? But I realized that my mind doesn't know how to rest. So I need to try and find some way of letting my mind rest and allowing other aspects to take over and quieten the mind. So I'm exploring those concepts as well, physically and metaphorically. And it's very like, I need to look up the actual explanation, the definition of cathartic. I keep using it, but I need to be clear about what it is. It feels very satisfying to and like therapeutic to go through these processes, because I do have a lot of time, and I have been making a lot of time for myself. And this is one of the outcomes. This is what is. This is true. And whatever we observe within us or outside, whatever is observable is truth, right? It is. And then you work from there. And then you let your awareness come through. And you look at the different components that make up ourselves and our perceptions and our treatments, our reactions. And we scrutinize. And we try not to get too carried away. But all in the process of and the journey of better understanding, better growth, better healing, and better building. So this was a whole roundabout way to say I'm a big fan of conscious, intentful upgrading, optimizing, evolution.